The wilderness of northern Canada to the jungles of Wakanda to the sweaty, hot streets of New York City, the Predator has been having his way with the Marvel Universe for the better part of a year in the comics, leading all the way up to the event that is called Predator Kills the Marvel Universe. Well, before we can get there and to celebrate spooky season, let's go over what else he's been doing, starting off with Spider-Man in New York City. Right away, this starts off by letting us know that it is sweltering. It is so hot in New York. I mean, the page has that orange color that lets you know that it's hot. I mean, the page would definitely have like heat lines coming off of it if it could. We turn the page directly into the action because we have a detective staring at something, chewing on pieces of ice, doing the best she can to stay cool, while she's looking at one of the more horrific scenes that I've ever seen in a Spider-Man book. She's talking to this forensics guy and he's asking her, do you think this was a robbery? Do you think it was drug related? I talked to some of the neighbors and they said that a lot of people did drugs here. And the detective is like, no, I don't think so, because something was stolen, but I don't think it was a robbery. She notices that each body is missing a body part. Jaw's missing on one person, rib is missing on another person, fingers missing on another person. She's like, this is some sort of sicko trophy hunter. Something is going on here, but it's definitely not just a run-of-the-mill robbery. And that's when she notices something and she turns and she asks, wait a second. That's my job. What are you doing talking to the neighbors? And as she goes to ask that guy that question, he's completely gone. And the reason why he's gone is because he's actually Spider-Man. And as she goes to try to figure out who it is, she runs into the real forensics guys. So Peter, as Spider-Man, is swinging off and he's calling his boss. He's calling Jameson. He's like, I got something for you. Jameson's already pissed. He's like, the last thing you had for me was BS. I don't want it. I don't want good news. I only want bad news. Fear sells clicks. What do you got for me? And Peter goes, how about mass murder? And he goes, you better have pictures. Peter's like, I'll be there in 3 minutes. So Pete's making some good time and he sees a bank robbery happening and he figures he can go around the block, cut the guys off and catch them. But when he goes around the block, he sees a bunch of kids. They're in the way playing in the water because it's super hot outside. Of course they are. And what does he have to do? He's got to web them up. He's got to swing them out of the way, but he ends up letting the car go. Now, the van that stole all the money, it pulls into a garage and things go awry immediately because the one guy, the leader, he's out there. He's like, yo, listen, take your cut. Don't talk to each other for 2 weeks. Lie low and we're out of here. And then he turns around and all of his guys are gone. And he's like, wait a second. Do you want to cut? Is that what this is? I can give you more. I can give you more money. He's thinking it's somebody trying to rob them. And nope. It was Skinner, which he got his face pulled off there. So yep, he's goner. And the way that Skinner is just holding up the face to his own face is just very, very, very horror movie. Like he's digging it too much. But Spidey's still right behind the guys, and this shows really how quick this happened, because Spidey's right behind these guys. He swings in, and he has to pull out his phone, call back Jameson. Never mind, I'm not talking about mass murder. I'm talking about a serial killer. From here, the story jumps around a little bit, showing what different people are doing throughout their day, and then we finally land on Mary Jane, who is on the subway. And as her train's going, before it gets to her next stop, the power shuts off. Click. Everything's out. Now, it's hot on here. These people are tired. They're trying to go home. They don't want to deal with any of this. But there's this one woman who's really freaking out a lot more than everybody else. And Mary Jane spots her and notices what's going on. The woman is claustrophobic and she's having a really hard time with the idea of the train just stopping. So Mary Jane pulls out a flashlight on her phone and shines it out the window. And she's like, look at all the space that's out there. We're not too far. We're going to be safe soon. And then they kind of spot somebody. It looks like somebody moving down the tunnel. And then Mary Jane gets even more excited. Oh, maybe it's somebody who's working on the tunnel. They'll be right here. I'm sure you guys know what it is because, yes, of course, it's Skinner Predator. It's the bad blood Predator. Now, if anybody knows anything about Predators, they are not supposed to do any sort of dishonorable killings or dishonorable hunts. And this predator just willy-nilly hunting anybody, everybody, whether they're armed, unarmed, or anything like that, that is a complete no-no, and we're gonna see that in just a moment here. But he basically gives them a gigantic jump scare in this moment. Smash cut to us back at the Bugle, where Jameson and Peter Parker are trying to figure out how they're gonna get this story out. So now they don't have any power and nobody has any service, so they don't have any access to the internet. People couldn't read it even if they could get something online. They don't know what to do. And Peter's like, you know what? We taking it old school. They literally head down to the basement and they hit up the printing press and they just start printing it and they hit the corners. Extra, read all about it. Y'all need to know there's a killer on the loose. Now, I ain't bought a newspaper in many years, but I don't remember them being $10, and this man didn't believe that it was supposed to be $10 either. He said, Jameson, how much is it? He said $10. He's like, I don't got $10. He's like, okay, give me $5 for it. But right after all that happens, he gets the paper snatched out of his hand by the detective, and she's like, who took this picture? Where'd you get this picture from? And now this is me, I don't know, it kind of feels like he got caught lacking for a second, because I don't feel like Jameson would have given up a source like this, but Peter Parker's full government was printed there, and now she's like, where is this Peter Parker fella at? But Pete already knows that it's gonna be a late night, so Spider-Man is swinging out so he could say something to Mary Jane before he has to head out for the night. But unfortunately, Peter doesn't know that she's been attacked on the train. And now we cut back over to this guy who's selling these papers, and he's got them on the side of the road, and these couple of dudes, they look at him like, I wonder how much money that dude been collecting for selling all them papers. So they go to stick them up, but boom, arrow right through the hand. What's going on? Now, if it was a predator, that probably would have been a plasma cannon and they would have turned into a pink mist. So that's a little bit of a hint as to who this person is, because they are about to jump down, hit the second dude with a headshot, and then they're gonna ask, let me see that paper. Let me see what you're talking about. Tell me everything you know. And we look up and see it's Kraven the Hunter. Marvel's Supreme Hunter versus, I guess, Marvel's other Supreme Hunter, but it's gonna be Kraven fighting some predators. So that's it for part 1. Come back for part 2 later, y'all. Peace.